Okay, for me, how I'm going to go through this is a bit awkward because I'm going to do other things at the same time as record. Which kind of works because a lot of this is fast forwarding, and it kind of doesn't work because every once in a while I have to come in and like make a choice, right? So, I'm going to review where we were and what we're trying to do here. So, particularly with endings. So we have 5 endings left, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And paying attention to the timeline of the game is important. So, Utsumi on a rampage, Satoru is stabbed. We're going to have to go back in here and discover the Yukio's plan's failure end. Okay. There's a point of no return here where the helicopter flies overhead, right? And Jomogi sees the helicopter fly overhead. And then there's a swap. And then Satoru ends up in their body and they run out chasing this helicopter. Uni says not going to make it out in time. And there's not going to be any more swaps until the very last swap that happens at the very end, right? So after that swap, Satoru is not going to be able to figure out any bad decisions that Kokoro made that leads to her death until the final swap. So any bad endings that happen after that scene, so on Kokoro's side, so those include anything that happens in, let's go to the scenes list. It's, I think, a man-made, we're looking for one called man-made, or something. Yeah, man-made miracle. So anything that happens after man-made miracle and later, all the bad endings that you could possibly get after man-made miracle, all of those should have the, like, story-wise, should have the equivalent result to Satoru, and that is that he arrives at the shelter cabin, or arrives at that zone. He arrives on Mount Akakura, and there is nobody left alive. Okay, so what am I trying to take from, what's my guess here? My guess based on that is that if you do any, it's probably like an any sort of thing. Again, I didn't look up the bad endings for Satoru. Like if you do any bad ending between there, so like so that's either, you collapse on the snow on the way back to the shelter cabin. In fact, I have a list here, so why am I messing around? Death before reaching the crash site, died without returning, Annihilation Miyazumi 3, roaming around the crash site, crushed by guilt, falls from the cornice, avalanche location X. All those should probably result in the same bad ending as Satoru, and that's what I suspect 32 is. 33, I think, is actually something special that you get probably if you get a specific one, and that specific one is probably Location X Avalanche End, because Satoru actually witnesses Location X Avalanche. So, that one actually might be different. So the first thing I would try is getting Location X Avalanche End as Kokoro, and then after getting Location X Avalanche End, we go through all of Satoru all the way from the beginning because we want to load a new Satoru game, like start a new Satoru game after we've previously gotten that ending. Hit the new game button after we previously got that ending. Go through the entirety of Satoru and see if we can hit a special Location X, Avalanche Location X End. Which is insane. But, so let's start that process up by loading something here. Is Determined Fate the right one? Let's load it and see. I continue to, yeah, so I'm going to search a bit longer. And see if this Location X avalanches me. Yes, it does. Cool. And then we're going to see if this creates another Satoru ending if we go all the way through. And on the when I first start doing this, I'm going to talk a little bit about the lore and stuff. So, I haven't looked at any guides, of course, but of course so this is one of those things. This is kind of a Danganronpa V3 style game where in the end there's I'm gonna wait through this cutscene. There's a let's see here. There's one of those. We're not going to explain everything to you, but we've left enough clues along the way. So if you can go back and read everything again, or if you understand, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, maybe you get a realization at the fridge. Realization in the fridge. I'm going to mute the game audio here because it's going to mess me up. And then I'm going to stop How do I stop? How do I stop fast forwarding? I want to go back to the clock tower. I guess it's too late. We're already going to hit the crash already. After we crash, it's going to show Satoru fallen, right? Yeah. Okay, so I couldn't figure out how to turn the fast forward off, but whatever. So I could reread the whole clock tower, climbing the clock tower bit. You have enough clues to go back and figure out exactly what happened here, right? Just figure it out. But there's a lot that, of course, I don't have enough clues to go back and figure it out. And so I'm still really, just me experiencing this right now. Maybe I'm just not smart enough or whatever. Don't know the answer to, but it seems like the game expects me to know the answer to. And there's a lot of whats that are told, right? But there's a lot of whats that it's kind of easy to figure out just by, the clues they give, but not the hows and the whys of those that correspond to those whats. So I'll go back kind of through them all, right? They give enough hints that at some point between August or whenever the midpoint is to January of 2022, Satoru and Inamoto swap bodies. And these clues are, in the end, Lin tells Satoru, or the person who says he thinks he's Satoru, you are not Satoru. And then, if you choose that you want to put milk in your coffee, the person who looks like to be in the person you think is Satoru's body says, coffee is best black. And you get this argument between who you think is Inamoto, probably is Inamoto, and Satoru, where Inamoto likes his coffee black and Satoru likes it with milk. Right? And then they end up switching in apoptosis. Also, at the end of apoptosis, the person who, in the body we think of as Satoru, refers to the person we think of as the body of Inamoto as Satoru, and vice versa. Additionally, if you get the ending where Utsumi kills Kaiko, you fast forward to Inamoto in an asylum, or Satoru in an asylum being referred to by the staff as Inamoto, right? Identifying that body as the body of Inamoto. All of these things suggest that the body we see as Satoru's body, that Kokoro gets into, and it has that blonde or yellowish hair, was the birth body of Inamoto. And the birth body of Satoru, the body that Lin dated, is the body that introduces ourselves as Inamoto. So we get the what, right? But we don't know the how. Sorry, I brushed the microphone there. We don't have the how, so we don't know how they did it. We assume they did something similar to using the same machine that they used to swap, the shelter cabin around between the two locations, switch shelter cabin and Sphere, but we don't know exactly how it was done. We also don't know why they did it. And you can kind of create a cheap answer and go, maybe it was an accident. But if you recall, somebody in what appears to be the body of Inamoto to them shows up and the person and Satoru sees this person who sees like the body of Inamoto just show up. And he says, "Who are you?" Like he's confused. Like, who are you? It's like he doesn't know they're going to swap yet. And the person says, "I'm Satoru," in the body of Inamoto. And Satoru looks at this person who says, "I'm Satoru," in the body of Inamoto, talking about the scene apoptosis here. And is like, well, I guess the plan failed. This sucks. Which suggests they planned to do a swap all along. And you would think that in order to avoid doing the swap, they would just not swap. But they swap anyway. And they swap before they start. It's not like the whole switching the shelter cabin and Sphere back and forth accidentally does the swap. It is a complete accident on the day in January 2022 where they start this whole switching thing. Because the person in that body we think of as Satoru through most of the game does identify himself as Satoru. He looks down at that ID card and it says Satoru, "That is my name." So they have already switched by that point. So whatever accident switched them, if it was an accident, happened before the whole main plot of the game. Okay, so you can figure out what, but you can't tell why they did it. Like, why would they do that? What was the purpose? And how did they do that? I mean, you could argue maybe it's because they learned that Satoru gets murdered. They're trying to prevent that. That is the body of Satoru, which would have Inamoto in it. And they were switching to prevent the murder. But they already knew a switch happened in the murder timeline because they were observing a switch. They had someone show up with the body of who they thought it was Inamoto, introduce himself as Satoru. They were aware of the switch. So I can't come up with a very sensible explanation for that. Okay? Same thing with Inabushi Keiko. Right, Inabushi Keiko introduces herself as Satoru to the anemic Satoru. Not Satoru, as Hotori to the anemic Satoru. Or not anemic, that means lack of iron. Amnesiac Satoru. How did she know that she would be able to do that and get away with it? How did she know about, you could argue, okay, you're going to have some anyway, no matter what I pick. You could argue, well, she was in the body of Hotori. She saw Hotori's ID card, so she knew the name of the body she was in. She also might have, when she switched back, saw a piece of writing that Hotori left behind where she wrote down her name. So she would know that some people, at least, she wouldn't know who wrote it. She wouldn't know that Hotori was the one who wrote it. But some people back at Sphere may have heard the name Hotori and got this idea, maybe I swapped, and maybe I could pretend like I'm still swapped. And she didn't know that Hotori was mute. But it's still kind of a stretch. Most people would think it's be like Kokoro and think it was like a dream or something. They'd be like, what in the world just happened? I don't know if they necessarily come up with a plan like that. If she did, just off the cuff, based on the information she had right there, then she's amazing, and she kind of is, actually. But then you go, okay, why would she do that? Well, Keiko has all the reason for people to believe she's not Keiko, because Keiko is known as a murderer. So that's not too bad. But she did it, but how she did it and why she did it isn't really that well defined. You go, did Uni give her some information up front? Was she in the same organization and working for Satoru and Inamoto? Are they all in on this? it doesn't really explain, and there's no real way to tell. Um, anyway, so it's like how and why. I don't know. I don't know. Like, whatever. I got some idea, but it's not super clear. And then the biggest one that I don't understand is why in the world did Satoru climb up that clock tower? The game doesn't explain why he was climbing that clock tower. He obviously hated somebody. Somebody to him was his David, right? Might have been himself, it might have been Inamoto. Someone was David, and someone being David he wanted to kill. But when he was going up on the clock tower, he was thinking about that. He wouldn't be able to kill said David from the clock tower anyway. And he was obviously in on the plan because he created it to do the whole location swapping thing. So he knew it was going to happen. And he was going up the clock tower in preparation for that, knowing it would happen. And then the question now goes, okay, so why did going back here, where we never found the access to the clock tower from Sphia. Where there was a little room that you could get into from the basement that would lead to like the supercomputer room. And there's another room behind that. There was a closet that had the poison in it, or just the MAO inhibitor. But there wasn't any word about any other doors or anything behind that even that would lead up to the clock tower. So we don't even know how to get to the clock tower. Then the question, now okay, so we don't know how you can even get to the clock tower and whether or not that's important to the plot. We don't know why he was climbing that clock tower. I mean, he's got a lot of machinations in his mind. There's a lot of internal dialogue in Satoru's mind about why he climbed that clock tower, but we never actually answer that. Then, once it gets to the top of the clock tower, a shadow, quote-unquote, appears. And according to the opening, Shadow is a nickname for Inabushi Keiko. In addition, when Inabushi Keiko killed somebody in the hospital, that person said that the Shadow had arrived. So you go, okay, Keiko climbed the clock tower for some reason herself and pushed him off the clock tower. Well, she didn't have a key. Does she have a key to the clock tower? Maybe. Maybe she borrowed Inamoto's key. Because maybe he had a key. Right? There's a machination that went on behind the scenes. Where they made a deal. And that allowed Keiko to get up the clock tower. However, that doesn't really sound like what the authors were going for. The authors made a point to indicate that the door locked behind Satoru when he went up the clock tower in that cutscene. And you could argue, okay, well, then someone could just open that door that's locked. Yeah, but they put that in the cutscene for a reason. If someone just would have opened it up again, they wouldn't have anything left to communicate by communicating that the door locked behind Satoru. So it seems like they're implying they're trying to communicate to the reader. Don't worry about it. You should know that nobody followed Satoru up that clock tower. No one followed Satoru up that clock tower. The reason why he fell off was completely on his own. And with one of the swaps happened at that point. One of the swaps that brought Uni, the swap that brought Uni to Sphia, the 2011 Uni to Sphia, and allowed the 2012 Uni to get up onto to ride up onto Mount Akakura. That swap happened. And somehow that swap however it worked, um, kicked Satoru off the clock tower. May might go, okay, so maybe Kokoro swapped in. Kokoro didn't realize that there was a clock tower. She was on top of a clock tower. She stepped backward. She just accidentally stepped right off. Well, Kokoro, as far as I may not have been in the circle, in the sphere at the time, because Yomogi hadn't carried her out yet. So, because the crash site is not within the transfer radius, so you could say maybe Satoru's body just got disembodied, and he turned into a disembodied soul trapped on Mount whatever the island is. Whatever island we were talking about. And he just his body got disembodied, which basically made it unconscious, and it just fell right off. Something like that. And no one pushed him off the clock tower. That's a very anticlimactic conclusion. Cool. So he did that in order to intentionally get disembodied, to fall off the clock tower intentionally, because that was all part of his plan. Why? Why would that have to be? Why would it do it that way? Why are we referring to the shadow? Yeah, so you can get the what, but you can't get the why. At least I can't. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. Those are my main quandaries with this. It seems like maybe they had more plans for more revelations, for more mysteries, for more information dumps, and they just didn't have time to write them. This game does definitely have a sort of we didn't have time to finish it kind of feel to it, where it's a little bit rushed feeling. Obviously, we don't want to drink the water because that'll reach a bad ending we don't want to hit. So maybe it was just never written. I'll read about what other people's thoughts are on Remember11 Explained, which I've heard of but never gone to, of course. I'm still playing the game, and TV tropes and whatnot, and afterwards, and see what other people think. I'm somewhat stumped by that. Already 23 minutes in. Another mystery that's not really solved is who's this mysterious person trying to stab Satoru in these certain cases. For example, when he swaps into his body, we get Satoru stabbed by the mysterious shadow, right? Who's the shadow in that case? There's also the person who stabs him in the bathroom when Kokoro's in his body. Who's that? Notice that these are, if you go, oh, that's Keiko. Well, body swapping was occurring. And so when Kokoro was in Satoru's body, someone else was also in Keiko's body. So you would think it would be somebody who doesn't swap, and that kind of leaves Utsumi. Utsumi is the one who just occasionally likes to take a stab at Satoru here and there. And then, do you enjoy your coffee? Okay, I'm going to put with milk intentionally here. Pretty weird. Now, yeah, we're obviously not going to force fast. We're not going to. I'm obviously not going to record through all of the fast forwardings. I'm going to record through this one. We're going to have to do another one shortly afterwards if my theory is correct. Do the entire Satoru route, and if that is indeed correct, then I'm gonna do pause encoding when I do that one. I won't have anything to say left, and I'll be able to do something else while it's fast forwarding. As far as after I get all of the endings, trying to get all of the scenes to 100%, and all the CGs, because I'm missing some CGs as well, I'm likely gonna have to look up a guide because I get stumped over and over trying to solve that. I still haven't figured out how to get all of the text in endless mantled environment yet, and I seem to have done everything you could possibly do in Kokoro's route. So, and endless mantled environment only triggers if you're in the case where Kokoro eats the food herself as opposed to Lin. And so you have to go down that kind of route. And making Lin really mad doesn't change it. But it's that the scene is purely about interacting with Lin. So you'd think Lin choices would be the way you would make new text there. And there's been several CGs I'm missing as Satoru, which is also crazy because I seem to have done everything there is to do as Satoru as far as I can tell. Why would I want to kill you? Let's see if we can... You want me to call for it? No, I don't. Because she is indeed not. But she will kill a baby later. Yeah, some of those CGs, like the one in the insertion there, you have to make a specific set of choices in order to get it, but I got it. It's not that hard. Okay, I presume she's dead by this point, so any more swaps don't happen. Which is another, seems to be a contradiction here, because the game tends to imply that if one of Kokoro or Satoru dies, then the other person will get swapped into their dead body and then also die. The problem being that this seems to not apply to Inabishi Keiko. When Hotori dies, it doesn't kill Keiko. She just doesn't swap. When Keiko, Yuni, and Utsumi all exit the facility after a swap happens, it appears that Keiko isn't swapped, right? So... I'm going to drop a save here. Just because I forget how to get through Revenger. It's a bit tricky. Okay, I got... Okay, so after I kind of remember like the logic I went through, I said don't go in front of Hotori, because if you went out in front of Hotori, then the main character could die, and then I died, right? So the correct thing is to do that thing, and put yourself in danger here. Resolve myself. Okay, got through there. Now we're going to go down into the basement now and look through the computer. Yes, we are. Okay. All the stuff that I did not read. Oh, I read it, but I didn't ingest. I read it out loud and didn't ingest it well. Okay, nearing half an hour. Man, this scene was long. Info dump that is still insufficient. Okay. I'm actually gonna mess around in this and do me. And I'm going to fast forward to I'm going to go through apoptosis here. Kokoro and I are the only ones that can control this body. But in the scene showing Inamoto's death, Fuyukawa Kokoro would never commit such a brutal murder. I can confidently declare that she isn't someone who's capable of such a thing. Moreover, she has a strong alibi. I can't speak in detail about it here, but anyway, it's impossible for Kokoro to have committed the crime. She has an alibi that I can't speak about? Interesting. And this leads us to the inevitable conclusion that the culprit can only be the other personality. In other words, the culprit is me. It's me. That's the only possibility I can think of. My memory still hasn't returned. If I assume the cause is mental, then it means something's wrong with my mind. Just like Utsumi said, maybe I really do suffer from did. And while suffering from did, I was dragged into the transference phenomenon. Thus, I misunderstood. Until now, I was convinced I had taken the role of the victim. But I was wrong. I am the victim and also the assailant, unbeknownst to even me. Because of a mental disorder completely unrelated to the transference phenomenon, I have created another personality within myself. That other personality must have been the culprit. He did something. Backlog? He schemed to injure my body and grotesquely killed Inamoto. The words tell me everything. It's sad, but I have to face up to it. I won't waver anymore. I won't let myself be restrained by feelings and obligations any longer. I closed my eyes and took a heavy breath and left that musty room. And then I'm going to go through the bad ending. Just so that I can check off that set of text, right? Because I haven't cleared that text yet. We're going to go, here's apoptosis. We may not get new text in apoptosis due to like the coffee change because well, that might not happen until you do it by you get through that choice and then you get the times wrong. Oh, God. Oh, I have credits. Can I skip them? Can't skip the credits. Okay, I'll pause the encoding while the credits go, so you don't have to sit through the credits. Okay, I got through the credits, and then I hit save system data before I got back to the home screen. Okay. So nothing happened besides I just got through those credits. We're going to continue. We're going to load the same thing in symbolic. And then we're going to choose the correct answer, which is neither. Now, we're going to go through all four combinations of this, although I have to hit the credits every time, which is going to be kind of obnoxious. So I believe I've done wrong on the first interval, correct on the second interval, if I remember. So let's do correct on the first interval, wrong on the second interval. Yeah. And we'll see what this does. 9:08 p.m. to 10:24 p.m. 9:08 is when the second transfer occurred, returning my consciousness to Sphia. To be more accurate, it's Sphia that returned to Asogi Island from Mount Akakura. 10:24 is instead the time of the following transfer. Incidentally, these two instances isn't. Let's pick, for example, the interval between 6:11 p.m. and 7:17 p.m. on the 14th, an interval of 66 minutes. I was at the shelter cabin then, anxious about my body being controlled by Kokoro. I was worried sick about her, wondering if she managed to run away from Inamoto. See, it's strange, weird even. Wasn't I only allowed to stay in the shelter cabin for 33 minutes? Of course, the same goes for Kokoro. She can only stay at Sia for 33 minutes. In spite of that, the cameras recorded my body moving without my consciousness for a good 66 minutes. It's certainly not a problem with the time counter on screen. The records really are 66 minutes long. The major point here is that the statement Kokoro can only stay in Sphia for 33 minutes is irrefutable. We measured it several times, so I have no doubt about this, which means Kokoro is already at Sphia at 6:11. Her consciousness separated from my body 30 minutes after at 6:44 at the latest. But then, from 6:44 to 7:17, who the hell was controlling my body? Examine the records once again. 6:44 on the 14th is shown at the moment Inamoto was swinging the knife, aiming at my throat. Right after that, Hotori rams right into Inamoto, causing him to drop the knife. Which means that Inamoto's murder, as well as the overblown damage to his body, took place sometime between 6:44 and 7:17. The personality and control of my body during that time gap is the culprit. So with that, Fuyukawa Kokoro has a reasonable alibi. She can only be at Sphere for 33 minutes. And Inamoto died after her 33 minutes. Therefore, it's impossible for Kokoro to be the criminal. Fuyukawa Kokoro is innocent. Well, okay, I guess we know what that alibi is now. Well then, I guess it's time to draw a conclusion. I stated before that there was another unknown personality at Sphere. Needless to say, that's the personality controlling my body during the time gaps. Who is that? The answer is a separate personality born within myself. Yeah, and then he's going to get the wrong answer because I picked the wrong second time gap. And we're going to hit the credits again, I presume. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll say I knew it or whatever. And then this was very easy background for them to make, just RGB everything to 1. Then we get murdered. Red to full GMB, and then we're going to get credits, right? Yeah, we're going to pause encoding so you have to sit through the credits, and I'll pick it up when the credits are over. Okay, got through those credits, saving system data. Gonna load symbolic again. This time we're gonna do bad and bad. So neither is the correct answer, but on the times I'm gonna do both wrong answers just to get through all the possible text in the scene. So we're gonna pick this really short interval that is irrelevant, but is 17 minutes long, yay for 17. And then this interval that is like not 66 minutes, so it's also the wrong interval. And then let's read this. Let's pick, for example, the interval between 7:17 p.m. and 7:34 p.m. on the 14th. An interval of only 17 minutes. See, it's strange, even weird even. I found this interval until the next transfer simply too short, which is directly connected to the question, wasn't it actually longer? This is so nonsense. If it was, then either the 7:17 or 7:34 part is wrong, but after 7:34 p.m., Kokoro was in my body, so I can't arbitrarily change it. Therefore, I have no choice but to move the time of my transfer to Sphia back. In other words, on January 14th, I didn't transfer at 7:17 p.m., but actually returned to Sphia much earlier. If that's the case, there was another unknown personality within myself. It's a huge tangled mess now, so let's just sum it up here. January 14th, 6:11 p.m., my consciousness gains control of Kokoro's body. 33 minutes after, at 6:14 p.m., 44 p.m., unbeknownst to me, my consciousness returns to my body. 7:17 p.m., I wake up as myself, I discover Inamoto's body. 17 minutes after, at 7:34, my consciousness leaves my body. Based on this, I appear to black out for a fixed amount of time whenever I return to Sphia. Control over my body is stolen by another separate personality. By the way, what did I do during these time gaps? Let's look at the interval between 6:44 p.m. and 7:17 p.m. on the 14th. There's no need to check the records. This is the interval when Inamoto's murder took place. The personality and control of my body during this time gap is the culprit. So with that, Fuyukawa Kokoro has a reasonable alibi. Well then, I guess it's time to draw a conclusion. I stated before that there was another unknown personality at Sphia, and then there we go. Fast forward through to apoptosis. Whatever. This will go through to the credits, and then I'm just going to pause when it gets to credits. Yeah, pause in here. Okay, got to those credits. Save system data, start, and then I gotta look at the clear list. Go to scenes, and then go down to reflections, or no, whatever it's called. Symbolic. Symbolic is still only at 90%, which is interesting. I don't know how you get more text, but okay. I'm trying to get that to 100%. As you can tell by me messing around with it. So let's load symbolic again. So let's do the correct answer here. Neither. The correct answer here, which is a 66-minute interval. Correct answer here is a 66-minute interval. Ah, okay. And then I'm actually going to overwrite my save here, so I don't need that old save anymore. And let's pick these wrong answers. We transfer 4 times. It's complicated, so let's use my body as a fixed point of view and follow the transfers in chronological order. We're going to make an explanation of it being wrong, a wrong explanation here. At the start, my own consciousness is in my body. Nothing wrong with this, everything's normal. Then the third personality enters my body and begins to move however they please. At 16.5 minutes, only half of 33, it's Kokuro's turn. Kokuro could stay in Sphia for 33 minutes. After she runs out of time, the third personality comes along for another ride. At 16.5 minutes. In the end, my consciousness returns to my body, and this marks the end of my first set of transfers. In other words, I divide the time interval of 33 minutes in 2 halves, each before and after. Strange, something doesn't click. I wasn't fully satisfied with the explanation, but oh well. Anyway, that's how it is. Yes, it doesn't make sense at all. Kokoro and I transferred at 4 points in time. Not that I was even paying attention, really. I'm just trying to check off these bad text possibilities. Furthermore, during the 33-minute gap, my body was injured and Inamoto was killed. Consequently, the real culprit is the third personality. With this, Kokoro and my innocence arc was proved. The records tell me everything. I closed my eyes, took every breath, and left that musty room. Let's fast forward through this. And we're already in the third area, right? So let's just stop. Can I stop? There we go. And spam my way through here. See if we actually go into apoptosis automatically. Yes, we go into apoptosis. Thing is, though, I'm gonna actually run all the way through apoptosis just in case. Going into it this way makes up like one line of text different, which it probably won't, but it does. Huh? Doesn't the transfer occur between 4 points? You hopeless idiot. First, let me make this clear. There were never 4 transfer points, and I wiped out the voice acting because
これは説明するまでもないだろう。そんな推理では矛盾だらけだ。
So I had it muted, so let's
まず最初に断っておくが、転移箇所は4点間ではない。
There we go.
次に
Next.
もし仮に
Cool, so we got new text from apoptosis, for apoptosis. And I'll come back to you after these credits are over, as usual. Okay, I'm back here, saving system data. If it'll let me save, there we go. And then we'll go look at the clear list again. That might actually have been all of apoptosis. The reason being is that 2 is like a default. Like, you default to mistaking there for being 2 transfer points. Yes, apoptosis is now 100. Therefore, we have now gotten through all of the apoptosis nonsense such that we don't have to go through apoptosis all the way through again. which means we don't have to deal with the credits again, which to me is really nice. So, let's go back to continue. Load. Back to symbolic. Yes. There are. I'm going to do 2 exchange points. There are 2 exchange points, I am sure of it. Then how do I go about explaining the existence of a third personality? Very simple. That personality lurks within myself. I've always thought that Kokoro and I were the only ones controlling my body. But that doesn't seem to be the case. There's someone else within me, someone I don't know. My memory still hasn't returned. If we assume the cause is mental, then it means something's wrong with my mind. Just like Utsumi said, maybe I really did suffer from did. I was dragged into the transference phenomenon. Thus, I misunderstood. I'm wondering what bitrate I'm recording all of a sudden. Okay, cool. Whatever. It's good. Thus I misunderstood. Until now, I was convinced I had taken the role of the victim, but I was wrong. I am the victim and also the assailant. Unbeknownst even to me, because of my mental disorder completely unrelated to the transference phenomenon, I have created another personality within myself. That other personality must have been the culprit. This is not really new text, but it's not letting me skip it, so I'm treating it like new text. He schemed to injure my body and grotesquely killed Inamoto. The records tell me everything. It's sad, but I have to face up to it. I won't waver anymore. I won't let myself be restrained by feelings and obligations any longer. I closed my eyes, took a heavy breath, and left that musty room. And then we're now at a different new scene, the third area. Okay, now I'm just going to exit the title. Yes. Save system data. Just make sure that's saved in. So, going down to symbolic. Got all of symbolic. Cool. So we're actually, we'll do a lot of black 100s here. So once I get through promise, from Hecate all the way through ambivalence, we have 100s. Okay. Cool. Let's now do a continue. Gonna load symbolic again. Yes. And we're gonna do the correct answer, which is 3. And this will take us, we're not gonna do apoptosis this time. We're going to go through to the golden ending route, which might hit a bad end here. So that makes it not really the golden ending route, right? And we gotta do don't open it. Yeah, here we go. Ambivalence. Why is this new? Okay. When I reached the top of the hill, I was greeted by a familiar scene. Oh, this is the end of the world. A bowl-shaped hollow. In the middle of it stood the shelter cabin. Kicking up the deep snow, I ran down the gentle slope. I finally arrived in front of the cabin. I flung the door open. I see myself inside. There was no one there. A cast-off shell. The room, empty of its occupants, was deeply ominous, still as death. I tried looking down into the underground storeroom. Of course, there is nobody there.
なんでだ
Why?
なんでみんないないんだよ
Why aren't they here? A cold breeze blew through the cabin. I have no idea what happened after that. I think several more space-time transfers occurred, but it didn't matter anymore. At the mercy of something greater than I, my lost soul just wandered aimlessly through an empty world. And where did the 4 people at the shelter cabin disappear to after that? From the newspaper day of July 4th, 2011. As I thought, the headline 3 decomposed male and female corpses found in Mount Akakura was still there. It meant that the 3 of them were caught in the avalanche. Right, so a different way of ending would be, if you did a different way of ending besides that, okay. I wonder if I had just been dreaming this whole time. A nightmare without end. Now I'm in a white room. A pure white room without a single stain on its walls. One wall is a small window with bars across it. Outside I can see cherry blossoms as they flutter down and dance on the wind. This is a new text, but I'm reading it again anyway. An old man is walking down the road. Slowly, slowly he totters by. From the other direction comes a boy walking a dog. There's an old man, a boy, how about the woman now? He shouts cheerfully as he runs, bathing in the sunlight, filtering through the trees. I don't want to think anymore. Just gazing through the window at the world enclosed by this little square is enough for me. The cherry blossoms, the old man, the dog, and the boy. I surrendered myself to the passage of time, content to be a spectator, without emotions nor self, with only this single viewpoint, observing the transient world. Viewpoint. A point, with neither volume nor mass. I was a hollow existence. Suddenly I heard a voice from the other side of the door. Inamoto-san, Inamoto Naoya-san, it's time for your medicine. Okay, let's see what that ending was called. Peace of mind, alone in the shelter cabin end. Huh. Interesting. So what if he finds dead body? We could find an ending where he finds dead bodies. Yeah, Cornus will probably give you the same ending because they don't return. We need to make dead bodies in the shelter cabin. Which... Let's look at what could do that, potentially. And the scenes are going to help me too, so I'm going to look at the scenes here at the end. Yeah, end of the world is actually only at 91%. Interesting. Huh. See a non-avalanche one? I don't think we can do this. I'm going to try this desperately, but I don't know if we can actually get it to change. No, it won't change. Ah, dear. See what I have here in the setting, and then my load things I can load. These are all Satoru scenes, aren't they? Okay, let's see if I can... well, no, let me... Okay, so we need something where he returns to the shelter cabin and it's bad, right? And then, yeah, let's try to do an Izumi annihilation, just for fun. So I don't know if oh, wrong load. Let's try getting a Meizumi annihilation, potentially. Something like that, and see how Satoru responds. Satoru responds to that kind of ending. So to do a Meizumi annihilation, we gotta put Meizumi in charge of the food. I wanna leave it to Meizumi. And then here you stall. She asks you if you ran away. What? Hey Uni, just now, why'd you come running out here? Won't you tell me the reason? That's because Tobalin was picking on me. If she wanted food, she should have listened. No way. Calling Meizumi selfish like that, I wasn't really following through on how I said I'd help us stay together. It's all I can protect the harmony between us. That's necessary for us to survive here. I hardly wanted to think it was possible, but there were some of us harboring distrust in each other because of the strict way we conducted things. Anyway, let's go back to the cabin. Okay. Following the trail of footprints we'd left, we headed back towards the cabin. What? How did I get new text? What I saw when I returned to shelter cabin took my breath away. Huh. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to put a save here on 1. What? I'll safeguard it. See if we can get an endless mental environment change.
私ちょっと考え事違います。これは私という突然泣き出したりして。違います。私たち
Okay. I feel like maybe if you get like this super
違います。
nice, if you're super nice to Meizumi, you can get like a nice to Meizumi thing. Anyway. Okay. I was trying to get a Meizumi Annihilation 1 and was unsuccessful because apparently I did do something that was way more complicated to get than I thought. I'm not looking at the guide, obviously. I don't want to look at that when I don't need to. But what I happened to do by chance is finish off the beginning of Ego Collapse, right? Nope, I only got a little bit more text. I did not finish off the beginning of Ego Collapse. Let's see if I can.
私がですか？
This is incorrect.
なんとか中にも。
Heaven is here, right? Nope. That's the beginning. I keep doing that. Okay. New life. Say I can eat. No, I know I dropped a save. It's determined fate. That's the end. Okay, whatever. I give up. I have to do this the long way. I didn't eat. I had to go through all this whole stupid thing. Okay, let's get Mayuzumi Annihilation 2 here. So I think Yomogi is right. So I think doesn't matter. This is another way to get everyone to die. I wanted to go back and do the beginning of Ego Collapse. Whatever. I wanted to go back and see if I can return to Shelter Cabin right away on that. But anyway. And stop. And go left. There we go, got it. See if this does anything as Satoru. It's like just any ending where they die, right? Like, it's too early though. We need like the guilt ending. That would make the shelter cabin not empty. Because here he would actually transfer again, and he'd find them dead after a transfer. Okay, we're gonna get a bad ending anyway, somehow, though. So let's just get that bad ending.
Yeah, Chaika.
And I'm not going to record this because it's going to be really boring, so I'll just do it. Okay, I started recording again on the process of going through the Satoru stuff because I think I might have hit unskippable text. Let me check here. So is it okay to go for a three-pointer? If I can get 2 points to the score whenever you try to try for a three-pointer, right? Yes, it's unskippable.
彼女
Okay.
にプレッシャーを与えるんだったら2点を選択した方が安全だと思うけど。
For trying to pressure her, I think it'd be safer to try for a two-pointer instead.
いいかユニ、俺たちのチームにはあと2回も投げるチャンスが残ってるんだぞ。
Did I accidentally put on auto?
同点とはいえ俺たちの方が断然有利な状況にあるんだ。
Even though we're tied, our team definitely has the advantage in these circumstances.
ここでお前が3点を狙う。
You should aim for a three-pointer here.
仮に入らなかったとしても相手チームとのスコアは同じ。 変わらない。
Even if it doesn't go in, our score will be the same as the other teams.
だがもしも入ったとしたら、
But what if it does
そ
go
の時
in?
点で俺たちのチームの負けはなくなる。
In that situation, victory is guaranteed.
小鳥が3点決めて俺が外してもドローだからな。
Even if Otori got 3 points, and even if I missed, it
こ
didn't
こは勝負ど
draw.
ころなんだ。
We're playing for
積
keeps.
極的に攻めていこうじゃないか。
Why not go on the offensive?
わかった。
Okay, okay, then it's skippable again.
おいおい、どうしたんだよユニ。
Hey, what's wrong with
なん
you?
でそんな顔してんだ。
What's that look
まだ
for?
同点なんだぞ。負けたわけじゃないんだ。
The score's still tied, right? It's not like we've lost yet. But
ごめんなさい、サトル。
I'm sorry,
いいよ
Satoru.
気にすんなって。
It's fine. You don't worry about
大
it.
丈夫。俺が必ず決めてみせるから。
Don't worry, I'll definitely get it in.
そういうの体現相互って言うんだよね。
That's what they call talking big,
で
right?
きもしないこと宣言しちゃっていいのかな。
Should you really be making proclamations like that if you can't see them through?
ああ、なんだと。
Huh? What did you just say?
サトル、今までスリーポイント何回入れたっけ。
Satoru, how many 3-point shots have you gotten in so
確
far?
か3回だったよね。
If I remember correctly, 3 times, right?
私はもう5回も決めてるのに。
And I've already gotten 5.
確率で言ったら私の方が断然有利なんだよ。
If we talk probabilities, it's definitely me who's got the better chances.
さあ、分かったらさっさとどいて。
Well, if you get it in, if you get it, then hurry up
邪
and
魔だ
move.
から。
You're in my way. Vittori pushed between us and walked up to the 3
おとりちゃん、集中だ。ごめんね。多分入っちゃうと思うけど、許して。
I'm sorry, it'll probably go in, so forgive me,
どうか
okay?
な。
We'll see about that.
私がミスると思う？
You think I'll miss?
いいから早く投げろよ。
Just hurry up and throw. Score 21 to 21. A tie. Of course, there's no reason to go out of my way and aim for a 3-point. Okay. Result 21-23. At the end of a very close game, Union and I seized our victory by 2 points. After the match, I headed over to Otori. Okay. I think I can just repause the encoding from now on. But there was a little bit extra text there. I'm gonna start recording again here.
やめろ。
In case I hit a bad ending. Okay, here we go. Recollect. The sudden sensation of being torn free from my own skin overwhelmed me. But I wasn't in any pain. I was peacefully drifting in a misty white world. I didn't know what had happened. After spending a while like that, the mist suddenly disappeared as if blown away. I was in the shelter cabin. A transfer had occurred. I understood that what had just happened, but something felt different from before. My field of vision, my consciousness was defying gravity. It was floating around the ceiling. Somehow my body had been separated from my consciousness. How strange in me to remain so calm even under these circumstances. Maybe I'm just thinking without using my brain. My emotions have been carried far away. I had no physical body either. The only thing working seemed to be my sense of sight, but you couldn't exactly call the way I perceive things now seeing. How could I describe it? I'm absorbing information, immersing in it. It was a concept of human intellect I could not know, and therefore there was no word in human language to describe it. I didn't want to, but I found myself looking down at the scene below me. Yomogi's corpse was on the floor. Multiple lacerations were visible on his back. Kokuro's body lay beside him. And like Yomogi, Kokuro's back bore gashes that ran deep into her flesh. Kokuro was dead as well. Only Lin was still alive, curled up in a corner of her bed. She held an axe in one hand. I wonder where Uni is. I couldn't see him. The cabin floor was a sea of blood. A vicious soup of fresh blood permeated every corner of the room. My existence had been reduced to a single point, an existence of the zeroth dimension, nothingness. Even faced with this gruesome spectacle, I felt nothing. because I had lost my emotions. But in the core of my being, something ached. Even though it was starting to fade, it flickered like a flame. I was so sad that Kokoro was dead. Losing her was very... How did it turn out like this? This is the worst possible ending. Kokoro was dead. And Kokoro's death meant my end as well. Am I dead? The instant I became aware of it, my existence vanished. Now that sounded very Meizumi Annihilation 2 like specific, because it described that only Meizumi was still alive. And everyone died from an axe. Like, if it was a Yomogi Annihilation, you would see everyone still alive but Yomogi, right? It would be different text. Let's see what the ending is called. And where it falls in this list of things. Annihilation End B, which is Meizumi 2. So is there Annihilation End... So Yomogi? I guess we do the Yomogi one, and then we'll get something similar. Okay. I presume. So let me try to hit Yomogi Annihilation. I don't know how hard that is, because I got it by accident. Let's see if I can recreate it. So we're going to load... Determined fate. No. New life. Okay, I didn't eat. And we're going to continue. And then we do Meizumi, I believe. Leave it to Meizumi. And then we give the food to Yomogi. Come on. Leave the food to Yomogi. And Meizumi eats it, I presume. Oh, I have to go through this every time. Walk away from the building, and then you have to stop, and then you go to the left. Whatever, and then Mizumi takes it. Why is this like the Mizumi 2 combination? I make Mizumi 2 mad at me? Great, do I have to go back to the beginning and make it so that Mizumi's less mad? Because this will give me the Mizumi Annihilation 2. Great. Hooey. I guess I didn't have enough. I had too few Mizumi points. Okay, well. Let's see if I can, if I can, I have to go back to Kokuro's stuff and re-get Yomogi Annihilation. So, let's do that. So let's see if I can. I'm gonna pause and put in for this first for the first part. So let's get to the. Okay, this plan we're gonna try guessing the choices that Yomogi won't like. Let's say we talk to the woman first, and not ask who he is. I don't know if that'll matter, but. This probably doesn't matter. Talk to Mizumi instead of Yomogi. Exposition thing. You know, I won't put this in the recording. I'll skip through this on the recording. He got through the whole exposition part, because that's boring. My GPS is broken, but it's not really. It's just giving you coordinates for Sogi Island. Sometimes. Yeah, actually eat the hardtack, because that if you're trying to do like an anti-Yomogi thing, you want to do kind of stupid decisions. I don't know if that one matters though. Nothing should matter at Sphere. Matter. To get through all the Sphere stuff. Sorry. Obviously we do not. We take them. Yes. Forget. Forget which one you do, but you take them. Okay, this scene doesn't have any choices in it. Be nice to Miyazumi, so apologize to Miyazumi. This doesn't matter. We didn't get choices in this scene this time. Oh, no, actually we do get choices, okay. Sometimes we don't. This shouldn't matter. No, keep quiet. Be nice to Miyazumi as much as possible. This should not matter. This should also not matter. This should also not matter. Now we're gonna stop Yomogi. Maybe you fooled around too much in your past life. Get angry at Yomogi. Even though that's the same choice there, so it probably doesn't matter, actually. Whoops. I don't know how I did that. Explain it to Miyazumi. And we're gonna go back. And they're running after me anyway, I don't think that's gonna matter though. I'm going to dig a grave, because we're gonna do the wrong thing when it comes to Yomogi in all ways possible. Okay, so it'd been nice to Mizumi so far. Give an evasive answer. Do not lend Yomogi a hand, even though that's probably well, whatever. It makes Mizumi mad when you say we don't give Yomogi a hand. It's still not giving Yomogi a hand. Oops. I accidentally clicked the wrong one, but this choice doesn't matter, so okay. Make the fire hotter. Because that would be anti both of them, right? I would hope. Okay. And don't eat. And then go for Mizumi. I want to leave it to Mizumi. Hit this. Hey, Mizumi Annihilation 1. Well, that caused a bad ending. Can I work off that? Sure, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit start. I do a quick load. And I'm going to make my quick load into a real save. That's right. If you if you, cool. If you've accidentally messed up a choice, you can just quick load to redo it. Okay. Let's look at the special and see if Meizumi Annihilation 1 could possibly do something. We're looking at the order of the endings. So, Satoru freezes Uzumi's plan's execution. Yeah, it might work. Okay. Time for a new game as Satoru. And as usual,
やーちゃいか
I won't record all this, I'll just roll. Okay, so I got to new text. So basically, we went through this scene where Emoto's like, I'm gonna kill you because you're useless. And you run away, and then you transfer back to the shelter cabin, and this is what happens. The scene title was called Insanity, but then the title faded out before I could unpause. The sudden sensation of being torn free from my own skin overwhelmed me. But I wasn't in any pain. I was peacefully drifting in a misty white world. I didn't know what had happened. After spending a while like this, the mist suddenly disappeared as if blown away. I was in the shelter cabin. A transfer had occurred. I understood what had just happened, but something felt different from before. My field of vision, my consciousness was defying gravity. I was floating around the ceiling. Somehow my body had separated from my consciousness. How strange to me to remain so calm even under these circumstances. Maybe I'm just thinking without using my brain. My emotions have been carried far away. I have no physical body either. The only thing working seemed to be the sense of sight, but you couldn't exactly call the way I perceived things now seeing. How could I describe it? I was absorbing information, immersing in it. There was a concept that human intellect could not know, and therefore there was no word in human language to describe it. I didn't want to, but I found myself looking down at the scene below me. Yomi's corpse was on the floor. Multiple lacerations were visible on his back. Kokoro's body lay beside him, and like Yomogi, Kokoro's back bore gashes that ran deep into her flesh. Kokoro was dead as well. Only Lin was still alive, curled up in the corner of her bed. She held an axe in one hand. I wonder where Uni is. I couldn't see him. The cabin floor was a sea of blood. The vicious soup of fresh blood permeated every corner of the room. My existence had been reduced to a single point. An existence of the zeroth dimension, nothingness. Even faced with this gruesome spectacle, I felt nothing, because I had lost my emotions. But, in the core of my being, something ached. Even though it was starting to fade, it flickered like a flame. I was so sad that Kokoro was dead. Losing her was very, very... How did it turn out like this? This is the worst possible ending. Well, if all of these endings are the worst possible ending, then Kokoro was dead. I'm making fun of it. Anyway, if Kokoro's death meant my end as well, am I dead? The instant I became aware of it, my existence vanished. So very similar to Meizumi Annihilation 2. I presume that's Meizumi Annihilation 1, though. Let's check the name of that. Annihilation NB Meizumi 1. Yeah, I'm killing it! Getting all of them. So I presume this 29 is an Annihilation NB Yomogi. So, let's go for that one now. Tediously. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to load. At the beginning of Equal Collapse. Heard that scream. I hurry back to the cabin. Gonna leave the food to Yomogi. For now, walk away. Yeah, same diff here. Hopefully we'll transfer back here soon. Not yet. Next, deal with the standing over the dead body thing. Yep. Claims DID breakout, even though this is not DID, this is body swapping with fetuses. It sometimes results in blood all over the place. Now we're getting close here. Get it? I may assume he's gonna run outside. Yep. Put her in the dungeon. And then just let Yomogi handle it. Cool. Now we're going to run another Satoru, and I'm not going to record that because that's boring. So,
Yeah, Chaika.
see you later. Okay, in my Satoru run, I'm unpausing here because I got unskippable text. So, I don't know what I did differently, whatever, but we're gonna read this because like I would hit skip and it wouldn't advance. Do you have something you want to say? And then I have like these options. So I don't know how I got this extra options, but I'm gonna. So first of all, I have to save this so I can do both options. I'm gonna try stay silent first. I kept quiet. Taking her feelings into consideration, saying something reckless to her might backfire. Right now, Lynn was very afraid, her mind likely in chaos. Of the four of us here, the one who's most afraid is probably her. She's putting up a tough front, but that's not the real her. I know everything there is to know about her. The real Lynn is more timid, more delicate, more fragile, and easily hurt than anyone else. That's why to protect herself, she'll put up a wall around herself. Whenever I see her bluffing like that, I feel tormented, unsure of whether to leave her alone or stay by her side. That hadn't changed even now. That's not really who you are, right? When I think of the fear she must feel, my chest gets too tight and it hurts. However, a careless remark would only sound superficial. That's why I kept quiet. Words were unnecessary. I should just stay by her side right now. That's what I thought. However... Let's try touch her earrings. Even so, there was something I wanted to do, no matter what. The earrings she wore, the small silver earrings. I'd given them to her on her birthday. I lifted my hand to her ear and touched it. Ah. Her body twitched. She raised her head to look at me. Confusion at my unexpected actions colored her face. I didn't have any particular reason for doing this either. If anything, it was more of a habit. When we were going out, I would gently touch her earrings and watch her react. Because she's so sensitive, she never got used to it, no matter how many times I teased her, and she would twitch every time. I kind of, how do I say it, loved watching her react. She was always putting up a tough front, but for that single moment, Lynn would return to being a normal, delicate girl. And whimpering like a puppy, she'd look up at me with reproachful eyes. Her face hadn't changed one bit, even now. Her eyebrows raised up high in bewilderment. Of course, not everything was the same as back then, because the form I'm in right now isn't my own. We gazed at each other without saying a word. The silence wore on. Trying to fill the space between us, I finally opened my mouth. Your earrings.
可愛いなと思って。
I think they are cute. Her eyes wavered, trembling at a loss. They reflected her confusion back
で
at
もな
me.
リン
But you know,
その
Lin,
ピアスが一番似合うのはお前が笑ってる時
I think they
だ
suit
と
you
思うぞ
best. I think they suit you best when you're laughing.
1なんか張らないで素直にありのままのリンになって笑ってる時
When you're not pushing yourself, but showing me the real Lin and smiling. That's why.
サトルなの？
Satoru, is that you, Satoru? Lin finally spoke. I nodded silently.
サトル
Satoru. With a weak cry, she fell against my chest. I reached out my arms and enfolded her in a gentle embrace.
私
I'm
怖いの
scared.
怖くて押しつぶされてしまいそうで
So scared, it feels like I'll be crushed.
このままじゃ私本当にどうにかなっちゃうかもしれない
If this goes on, I really don't know what I'll do.
サトル助けて
Satoru, save me. Her sorrowful appeal moved my heart. She clutched at my back, clinging to me.
私たちきっと助からないのよ
We won't be
あ
rescued.
の新聞の通りになるのよ
It'll turn out just like it says in that newspaper.
やだ
No. No.
私まだ死にたくなんかないの
Even though I don't want to die yet.
になんでこんなことになっちゃったの
Why did something like this happen?
帰りたいよ
I want to go home. I want to go home.
大丈夫だもう怖がることなんてない
Don't worry. There's nothing to be afraid of.
俺がついてるじゃないか
I'm here with you, aren't
俺
I?
は絶対にお前のことを守ってみせる
I'll definitely protect you. I won't let Lynn die this time. I don't want to lose her. Even if that was what the fates had chosen for Lynn. If that's our destiny, then I'll break it to pieces with my own hands. I'll save her for sure. And not just Lynn. Yamogi and Kokoro too. I won't let a single person die. I swear that oath in my heart as I held her close.
だから心配するなリン
So don't worry,
俺の
Lynn.
ことを信じてくれ
Please believe in me. Well, unfortunately, Kokoro made a bad ending, so you're not going to get out this time, but oh well. I whispered in her ear as I stroked her hair. I embraced her thin body. Tightly, so that we never be apart. I wanted to take away all the fear swirling inside her chest, wrap it up, and toss it away. However,
信じる
believe. The tone of her voice suddenly changed. Into one cold, devoid of
あな
warmth.
たのことを信じる
Believe in you?
そんなことできるわけ
There's
No.
no way... There's no way in hell I can do
だ
that.
ってあなたは
Because
あな
you...
たは
You...
サトルちゃん
You're not Satoru. You're not Satoru. With that sudden cry, Lynn shoved me away and stood up.
バカみたい
I feel so stupid.
私なんでこんな女のことをサトルだなんて
How did I ever think this woman was
リン
Satoru?
聞いてくれ俺は
Lynn, please listen.
やめてもう何も言わないで
Stop it. Don't say anything else.
これ以上混乱させるようなこと言わないでよ
Don't say anything else to confuse
お
me.
願いだから
I'm begging you. Leaving those words behind, Lynn left my
リン
side.
待てよ
Lynn, wait. Paying no heed to my cries, she walked to the corner of the room, and she disappeared through the hole leading to the underground storeroom as if trying to avoid me, leaving me alone on the bed. I thought about those earrings, the earrings I'd given her as a birthday present. It had been half a year since we broke up, but even after half a year had passed, she still wore those earrings. That fact tormented me. What could I say to her? I wanted her to believe that I was Yukito Satoru. I had plenty of other evidence as well, memories that only Lynn and I would know. However, as she was now, I don't think she'd believe a thing I say. It would only plunge her into further confusion. What should I do? The sound of the snowstorm pounded against the window resounded in my chest. Yamogi and Yuni appeared as though changing places with Lynn. Okay. So I'll pause it, I'll start again if I see any more new text. Okay, hit unskippable text again. Now, on the issue of that Miyazumi text, I presume that triggers if you get like enough Miyazumi points, which means you make enough pro-Miyazumi decisions as you go through a Satoru. And unfortunately, I didn't record that, right? It's not just like I edited out my Satoru run. I literally didn't record the Satoru run. I didn't start recording again until that text triggered. So I didn't actually have any documentation of how you trigger that. So next time I go through, I'm going to try to trigger it again and see if I can get that on video, like the procedure for triggering it. But that's kind of unfortunate that the procedure for triggering it didn't come up. Anyway, let's read this here. The sudden sensation of being torn free from my own skin overwhelmed me. Same. This is like going to be very similar. But I wasn't in any pain. I was peacefully drifting in a misty white world. I didn't know what had happened. After spending a while like that, the mist suddenly disappeared as if blown away. Where was I? A snowfield? I could see the shelter cabin in the distance. A transfer had occurred. I understood that what had just happened, but something felt different from before. My field of vision. My consciousness was defying gravity. I was floating high overhead. Somehow my body had been separated from my consciousness. How strange of me to remain so calm, yet even under these circumstances. Maybe I was just thinking about using my brain. My emotions had been carried far away. I had no physical body either. The only thing working seemed to be my sense of sight, but you couldn't exactly call the way I perceive things now seeing. How could I describe it? I'm absorbing information, immersing in it. It was a concept that human intellect could not know, and therefore there was no word in human language to describe it. I didn't want to, but I found myself looking at the scene below me. Kokoro's body was lying face down. The falling snow collected on her back. Like a snow sculpture, she wasn't moving, she didn't even twitch. She was frozen, being buried under the snow. It seems Kokoro is dead. I couldn't see the other three. A snowscape surrounded us. The snow spread far and wide, glittering in the sun, spreading all the way to the beach before it disappeared into the ocean. Looking back at that scene, I was reduced to a single speck in existence. An existence of the zeroth dimension, nothingness. Even faced with this chilling spectacle, I felt nothing, because I had lost my emotions. But in the core of my being, something ached. Even though it was starting to fade, it flickered like a flame. I was so sad that Kokoro was dead. Losing her was very, very... How did it turn out like this? This is the worst possible ending. Kokoro is dead, and Kokoro's death meant my end as well. Am I dead? The instant I became aware of it, my existence vanished. Yes, so many times I've read those words. Cool. So let's see the damage report here. So, special, clear list. Let's check out the ending first. Genocide of the Mountain Shelter Refugees End. Interesting. But it requires Kokoro to be face down, right? So, one more ending. The ending at the bottom of the list to go. They do something like the translators put it in the quick load. Like, or is it like in the shortcut menu? Like open the shortcut menu and it's like... Oh, I can't get here because... Okay. Or like in the quick load. It's cycling through. Okay. Um, so here's what's kind of perplexing here. Let's go because going to the scene list. So the bad ending where Kokoro, where they get avalanche to location X, the end of the world, as it's called, is only at 91% completion, which means there's more text in the end of the world. Why does this matter to me? Well, there's basically what that is he returns to the shelter cabin and it's empty. Right? There's a lot of ways he can return to the shelter cabin and it be empty. It's any of the ways where the people the refugees like go out and die somewhere, right? And it happens after the last transfer. Because if it happens before the last transfer, you get like a genocide end. So if it happens after the last, or the second to last transfer, the transfer where they don't body swap, because Satoru leaves the circle, right? Then he would come back and find the shelter cabin empty. There's a lot of endings that could do that. Not just those where they died at the avalanche. But when Satoru shows up at the empty shelter cabin, he says they must have died in the avalanche. Well, it would make sense it would always say that because he doesn't know how they died, right? The only thing he could assume is that they died in the avalanche. However, this game might defy common sense. It might make it so that if they don't die in the avalanche and they die some other way, Satoru somehow knows that. So he's like, they must have died in the process or something. So if you want to, I presume if you get an ending like, let's go back to the endings, like you go to as Kokoro, and you get an ending like roaming around the crash site end, right? If you get roaming around the crash site end, then you would get and you would then play it as Satoru afterwards. You would get peace of mind alone in the shelter cabin end again. But the scene, which is the end of the world, that scene would go, you get more new text in it, and it would go to 100%. So it'd be like worth doing if you went to 100% everything. That's obnoxious, but that's what I think how that goes. So that's what I'm thinking. That's my theory. I don't know for certain. That's my theory, right? Now there's other endings that you can get after that last transfer where they're still in the shelter cabin. Specifically, you can get one particular ending, and that ending is going back up the list here, the guilt one, right? Yeah, you can die before reaching the crash site. Again, that would probably be peace of mind. Annihilation Miyazumi 3 probably would be peace of mind, right? Die without returning, probably be peace of mind. Roaming around the crash site, probably peace of mind. Kokoro crushed by guilt suicide, that would leave Kokoro's body behind. So that might lead to something different, right? Kokoro falls from the cornice or the cornice, that would probably be peace of mind, right? Because probably Miyazumi and Uni leave. So he wouldn't find those two. If he does, that would be interesting. So like, what I would try to find the last ending would be doing the suicide end and seeing if that triggers the last ending by going all the way to the end of Satoru, or I would try, and then if that doesn't work, my second guess would be falls from the cornice, or the cornice, however you pronounce that, because that might leave Uni and Miyazumi behind in the shelter cabin. Probably not, because they would still leave to go look for Yomogi and Kokoro, so they probably still wouldn't be in the shelter cabin, but that would be my second choice. So I'm going to try to figure out the guilt one. I know for guilt you have to eat the food. You have to take. Kokoro has to eat the food, but then you have to do a specific, like you have to like not help Uni or something of that nature. So I try to trigger that. Now before I go trying to trigger that, trying to get this final ending. Actually, I need to look at the CGs too, and the scene completion and the scene percentage completions. That'll help me. So let's go to album. We're still not, we probably still don't have all the Satoru ones. Yeah, we have another CG missing here. And then CG is missing here and here. This might do if you get like all of the points with certain characters or something like that. Forgot how you toggle in this menu. That's not it. How do I get to the second page? I forgot how to do that. Numlock. There we go. Okay, I turn the numlock on and then hit 5. Okay, so everything on the second page. But I got everything as Kokoro. We have these like Satoru bonus stuff that we don't have. Okay. So this happens after the last transfer, right? Because this scene, because the insertion happens after the last transfer, but this does not. This is on a transfer to, or also. Yes, after the rat death. It is like max out. To max out your Kaiko points somehow. Anyway, and then look what the scenes the bad endings were part of. Shadow of Folson's still at 90. Granny Vehicle Collapse is at 98 now. Yeah, I got more progress, but we still haven't finished it. And Endless Mantled is still at 63. Self-Defense, False Accusation, still at only 94. 100% to the end in Kokoro. So Satoru, we are 100% all the way up to Reflection 1, and then we're at 98. Polyhedron 99. Receive 86, we'll get that done soon. DHA 70. NBA up to 99 now. Okay, 100% up to insertion, but we haven't finished insertion. So that's probably where the last CG is. And then Promise is only at 30%. That's probably where the next CG at. There's probably a CG in Promise. The End of the World, we're only at 91%. We have one missing. That's probably the last ending we don't have. I know we have some undone, not choices that we haven't done in the ending. Okay. So, let's load. Receive. Yes.
何か言いたいことでもあるわけ？
Try to speak kind words.
リン、
Hey,
何
Lynn.
をそんなに怖がってるんだ？
What are you so scared of?
怖がってる？
Scared
私
me.
の
Oh. Lynn raised her head.
ああ、そうだ。
Yeah, that's right.
多分ここにいる4人の中で一番怯えているのはリンだろ
Of the four of us here, the one who's most afraid is probably you, Lynn.
強がって見せてはいるが、それは本当のリンの姿なんかじゃない。
You put up a tough front, but that's not what you're really
本
like.
当のお前は誰よりも臆病で繊細で脆くて傷つきやすい。
The real you is more timid, more delicate, more fragile, and more easily hurt than anyone
だからこ
else.
そ弱い自分を守るために結界を張り巡らせてるんだ。
That's why, to protect yourself, you built this wall around yourself.
どうしてそんなこと言うの？
Why are you saying that?
私のこと何でも知ってるみたいな言い方しないでくれる？
Could you not talk like you know everything about me?
だってしょうがないじゃないか。
I can't help
何
it,
でも知ってるんだから。
because I know everything. Lynn bit her lip and narrowed her eyes. She looked at me dubiously.
大丈夫だよリン。
It's okay,
怖
Lynn.
がらなくても大丈夫だ。
You don't have to be
俺
scared,
がついてるから。
because I'm with
俺
you,
がお前のことを守ってやるから。
because I'll protect you. Only 33 minutes at a time, though. I said that to her with the intent of comforting her. I was trying to convey my innermost feelings to her. However,
何なのよあんた！
what is with you? All of a sudden, Lynn stood up. She heard
この
enough.
状況分かって言ってんの？
Don't you understand the situation we're
あ
in?
んただって死ぬかもしれないのよ。
You could die too, you know. Looking down at me, she spat out those words as though she were sick of it all.
なのに私をからかって混乱させて、
And despite that, you still try to make fun of me and confuse me.
そんなことして何が楽しいって言うのよ。
What's wrong with you?
何度も言ったと思うけど繰り返すわ。
You told me over and over again, but let me say it one more
もう
time.
二度と私の前でサトルのふりなんてしないで。
Don't you dare pretend to be Satoru in front of me ever
い
again.
い、分かったわね。
Okay, got it? Having shouted all that at me, she whirled away and stomped off in the other direction. She walked over to the corner of the room. She disappeared through the hole leading to the underground storeroom, as if trying to avoid me. I could do nothing to stop her. No matter what I said to her right now, it would probably be useless, I thought. I could tell that she wasn't exactly of sound mind at the moment. Times like these, there's nothing I do but leave her alone. I got off the bed and left her side. Okay, and then I can just go, right?
What 何か言いたいことでもあるわけ？
Stay silent, skip. Don't worry about the newspaper. Even so, there was something I absolutely had to say.
なあリン、
Hey, Lynn,
新聞のことなんか気にすんなよ。
don't worry about that newspaper.
え？
What?
あんなもの偽物に決まってるじゃないか。
It's obvious that it's
そん
fake.
なことぐらいで落ち込むなんてらしくないぞ。
Getting depressed over something like that isn't like you. I said that hoping to cheer her up. But
あんた何にも分かってないのね。
you don't understand anything, do you? All of a sudden, Lynn stood up as if she'd heard enough.
そんなことぐらい
Something like that?
らしくない？
Not like me.
私言ったわよね。
I told you, right?
サトルのふりをするならもっとうまくやってほしいって。
If you're going to pretend to be Satoru, then do a better job of it.
なのにらしくないってどういうこと？
So what is all this about? It's not like
あ
me.
んたがもしもサトルならそんな軽率な発言は絶対にしないはず。
If you really were Satoru, you'd never say something like
あん
that.
たは何も分かってないのよ。
You don't know anything.
私のことなんて何にも。
I'm just making the other choice to clear all the choice options, Mayuzumi. I mean, don't take this too hard. Thought the first thing about me. Lynn spat out those words as she looked down at me, sick of it
一
all.
体いつまで続けるつもりなの？
How long are you planning on continuing this?
私をからかって混乱させて、
Trying to make fun of me and confuse
そん
me.
なことして何が楽しいって言うのよ。
What's wrong with you?
何度も言ったと思うけど繰り返すわ。
I've told you over and over again, but let me say it one more time.
もう二度と私の前でサトルのふりなんてしないで。
Don't you dare pretend to be Satoru in front of me ever
いい？
again.
分かったわね。
Okay, got it? Having shouted all that at me, she rolled away and stomped off in the other direction. She walked over to the corner of the room. disappeared through the whole into the underground storeroom, was trying to avoid me. I could do stop her no matter what. So right now, it would probably be useless, I thought. I could tell she wasn't exactly sound mind at the moment. Times like these, the only thing I do would leave her alone. I got off the bed and left her side. Boom. Okay.
隊長山木隊長
I think I do it the correct way in the end, just in case it sets a variable or something.
何か言いたいことでもある
Okay. This is probably good enough. Okay. Next job is to try to trigger the guilt ending. So let me try to do that. The beginning of eco collapse. And they're gonna hurry back to the cabin fast to avoid the massacre. Yay. And then I'll click I'll safeguard it, and this will avoid Yomogi annihilation. And will allow me to be guilty. Is the idea. Just go through White World as usual. Close to the false accusation thing. Okay. I still have unread text in this scene. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I'll overwrite the second received save just in case. Everything pro Mayazumi I could do. An attempt to make Endless Mantle environment do something different. This one doesn't matter. It'll make you eat it anyway. Okay, I hope it visits in the end. So I think turn back to the cabin is bad ending. Oh. Uni. Okay, that's a bad ending. See, follow Yomogi. Leave Yomogi behind, I think. Let's say, so leave Uni. Okay, so while receiving blessing. So we want to leave Yomogi behind, then try to save Uni, but without Yomogi there, right? Try to. I'm not looking at a guide. Never look. So I'm trying to do it on my own because it's a let's play, right? Guides don't make for good let's plays. Alright, so follow Yomogi. And then just leave him behind. You gotta save Uni, so save Uni. Okay, endless mantled.
眉住さん、待って。
Oh, this is different. Mayuzumi-san, wait. I forced her to turn around.
何よ
What?
あんたの綺麗事なんてもうたくさんよ
I've had more than enough of your pretty words.
お願い、聞いてください。
Please listen
この
to
吹
me.
雪じゃヘリは着陸できません。もう一度チャンスを待つんです。
There's no way a helicopter can land in this blizzard. We have to wait for another chance.
だから今は一緒に戻りましょう。
So let's go back together for now. Mayuzumi violently shook my hand
そ
off.
んなの言ってみなくちゃわからないでしょ
We won't know until we go and see,
最
right?
初から諦めてたら助かるものも助からないわ
If we give up from the very beginning, we won't save even what could be saved.
そうですけど、でもやっぱり無謀です。
That's true, but it's just too rash. Irritated Mayuzumi shook her head.
慎重になって死んでたら意味ないのよ
It would be meaningless if we ended up dying because we were too careful.
私は絶対に死ぬもんか
I definitely won't let myself die. I understood Mayuzumi's feelings. I was the same. Of course, I wanted to go to the crash site if I could too. There might really be a helicopter waiting there. This may be our last chance.
よもぎさんやユニを置いていくわけには。
We can't leave Yomogi-san and Uni. We had to go back to the cabin in order to save them. Hearing that, Mayuzumi grabbed onto my shoulders and shook them hard.
あんたね
You!
この後に及んで他人の心配してる場合じゃないでしょ
It's already too late to be worrying about the
自
others.
分が助かるためなら切り捨てることも必要なのよ
In order to save yourself, there are things you need to sacrifice and abandon.
私は死にたくないから誰も助けない
I don't want to die, so I won't save anyone.
他人を見殺しにしてでも私は生き延びてやる
Even if I have to leave others to die, I'm going to survive.
もう一度聞くわ
I'll ask you one more time. Mayuzumi was looking straight at me. I couldn't look away. She was
あんた
serious.
は
How about you?
他人をかばって死ぬそれとも自分だけでも生き残る
Are you going to die protecting other people, or are you going to survive even if you're the only one who does? I... Slap her. I slapped Mayuzumi's face with all my might. Mayuzumi has covered her slapped cheek, looking at me in blank surprise.
何を
Why are
目
you...
を覚まして。
Open your eyes.
なんでそんなひどいこと言うの。
Why are you saying such cruel things?
他人を見殺しにしてでも自分だけ助かろうなんて。
Even if I have to leave others to die, I'm going to save myself.
思い出してください。墜落した時、あなたを助けたのは誰？
Please try to remember who was the one that saved you at the crash site.
誰なんですか？
Who was it? My tears began to flow. I couldn't forgive Mayuzumi, who was self-centered to the extent of cruelty.
それが綺麗事だって。
I told you, enough with your pretty
綺麗
words.
事じゃない。
Not pretty words.
人は一人じゃ生きていけないんです。
No
みん
human
なで
can
力を合わせるからこそ生きていけるんです。
no human can survive alone. It's only through our combined our strength that we can go on
あ
living.
なたは誰かに感謝したことがないの？
Haven't you ever felt grateful to someone?
誰かにありがとうって言ったことはないの？
Have you ever said arigato to someone? I clung to Mayuzumi.
ユニはなんて言ったと思いますか？
Do you know what Yuni said to me?
僕は平気だからリンを連れ戻してきてって。
I'm fine, so go bring Lin back.
リンを助けてあげてってそう言ったんですよ。
Go and save Lin, that's what he said.
自分の命の危険も顧みずに私に言ったんです。
Without
あ
even
なたを助け
thinking,
に行けって。
without even thinking the danger to his own life, he said that. He told me to go and save you.
あなたを助けてくれた人たちが今またあなたを助けるためにこの吹雪の中に取り残されてるんですよ。
The people that saved you are getting left behind in this blizzard in order to save you again.
なんとも思わないの？
Don't you think anything of that? Mayuzumi was biting her lip as she hung her head. I let out a sigh and turned my heel.
なんとも思わないのなら勝手に一人で行けばいい。
If you don't think anything of it, then just go on by yourself.
もう邪魔しません。
I won't get you in your way anymore. I spit those words at her and began returning where Yuni and Yomogi were without looking
待っ
back.
て待ってよ。
Wait. Mizumi followed after me meekly.
分かったわよ。戻ればいいんでしょ。
I get it already. We just have to go back, right?
でもあの二人のためじゃないから。
But I'm not doing this for the two of them.
私が助かるために戻るんだから。
I'm going back so that I can be saved. I knew that it was just a bluff, so I grabbed Meizumi's hand without saying
行き
anything.
ましょう。あの二人を助けに。
Let's go back and save those two. What if that Meizumi extra dialogue came from a high Meizumi total on Kokoro's side? It's an interesting idea. My sense of direction was completely thrown off by the snowstorm. I was worried about whether I'd be able to return to where Yuni was, but I promised that I'd definitely return. Believing that, I pulled Meizumi by the hand. Okay. And then just continue watching. And I think do we kill ourselves? No. I didn't hit it. Fui. Oh, no, I did. Yes, okay. Cool. Now, I would do the other choice. The problem is I think that's going to hit a bad ending, and that'll mess up my bad ending stuff. So I'm going to hold off on that. Which may be a problem because I have to recreate that again somehow. So it comes to endless. So I now figured out how you get an endless mantled environment to be different. You just get a really high like Meizumi score, presumably. So yeah, now I'm at 83%. We have to run away from Meizumi probably to get the remaining 17%. I still haven't figured out how to like get this up to 100%. Okay, now that I got the suicide ending, let's go to do a whole other Satoru and see if we can hit something different this time. And I'm going to pause encoding as I go through the intro. Okay, I'm going to try to make good Meizumi decisions. So let's try. I'm suspicious that what causes this extra Meizumi scene is like a combination of a high Meizumi score on both sides, as Kokoro and Satoru. So it's not actually. So what triggered it wasn't necessarily making the right decisions as Satoru. It was having a high Meizumi score on the Kokoro side, potentially. But anyway, I should try. It's been a while. I think that might be better. Okay, so here's another Meizumi part, and of course you don't turn around both times. And then here I probably would pick. I would not answer that I wanted it first. Okay, I'm gonna pause again. Okay, I'm in the receive scene. Let's see. Say I believe the article. See what happens. Nope, it didn't trigger for some. This did not. Whatever I did in that set did not trigger. Did not trigger it. It did. Okay. Okay. So whatever. So if you saw those combinations of choices I made that I recorded there, that was the combination of choices that triggered this choice. However, it may require some stuff on the Kokoro side too. It may not be just those can make this choice happen. Anyway, correct one, of course, is stay silent. And then touch her earrings if you want the extra CG. Okay, and then I'll pause again and I'll restart recording when something new comes up. Okay, I'm finally back on. My fast forward up to this point, but then I had to let it sit after I fast forward up to this point quite a while. I actually forget what scene we're on and where we are exactly in the timeline. But when I hit some unskippable text, going forward at some point. It's been a while. And it's been sitting here ready for me to start recording again. So let's see what this unskippable text is. That hurts. So what's the backlog? Well, definitely, I gripped her hand a little harder. Okay. She responds, that hurts to that. Lynn muttered.
痛いから話して
It hurts, so please let go.
お願い
Please.
わかった。
Got it. As she wished, I let go of her hand. Lynn leaned against the wall. Shivering from the cold, she hugged her body tight with both arms. I wanted to hold her and warm her up, but I decided against it. The current me is not me. To her, at least.
もうダメだわ
Okay, I can't. Still doesn't let me skip. Maybe that makes sense because this is new. I've had enough. Lynn sounded as if she was on the verge of completely giving up.
私たち助からないのよ
It's not going to happen.
助からない
No one's coming to save us.
死んでしまうんだわ
We are going to die. Her voice dissipated along with her white breath in that intense winter cold. You're wrong. I clenched my fist tight.
そんなことない。
You're wrong. I spoke. As I spoke, something red hot ignited in my heart. A scorching flame. A flame that made me raise my voice to a shout, firing me
俺
up.
たちは死なない。必ず生きて帰る。
We aren't going to die. We're going to make it out of here.
今、こんなところでくたばるわけにはいかないんだ。
We don't have any time to waste here.
この暗闇から抜け出してみせる。救い出してみせる。
I'm going to take you out of this hell. I can save you. I'll prove it.
全員だ。ここにいる全員。みんなを守り抜いてみせる。
Everyone, I'm going to save everyone who's here.
絶対に一人たりとも俺は死なせはしない。
I won't let a single one die.
あなたに何ができるっていうの
Are you saying you can do that?
俺はお前を
I
絶対
definitely,
に死なせたりなんかしない。
definitely won't let you die. I'll save you. Definitely. The promise I wasn't able to keep this time. I'll keep it.
もうやめてよ
Please stop it.
私たち 死ぬのよ。
You're going to die.
なのに悟のふりなんて。
And still, you're pretending to be Satoru.
本物の悟に会いたい。
I want to see the real Satoru. And as far as we know, how this ends, she doesn't see the real Satoru. Unless she eventually, after it's over, sees his corpse. That is the real Satoru's body. I mean, she is seeing the real Satoru. Like, the real personality of Satoru. And the real, it's just not, she's not seeing his body. She will never find his body again, right? Tears welled up in Lynn's eyes. Her tears soaked into the bed and slowly permeated the blankets. Slowly. Slowly. Just at that moment, inside me a certain memory slowly seeped out. Before long, like a bubble on the surface of water, it popped.
ねえ悟。
Hey, Satoru.
悟ってば。
Hey, Satoru.
あれやって。
Do that.
あれ
That?
あれってなんだ？
And what is that?
もうあれって言ったらあれよ。
Come on, when I say that, I mean that.
よく恋人同士がやるあれ。
It's the that lovers do.
わからないかな。
You don't get it, do you?
ぐるぐるよ。
So, the mimetic word is guru goo. Round and
Huh?
round.
ぐるぐるしてほしい。
I want you to do the round and
ほ
round.
らよくあるじゃない。
Look, don't you see it a lot?
浜辺でぐるぐるって。
Round and round on the beach.
あれやってほしい。
I want you to do it. In other words, this is what she wants me to do. Lynn clings to me. With myself at the axis, I swing Ling around in the air. It's like one of those rides at an amusement
や
park.
だよ恥ずかしい。
No way, too
一
embarrassing.
人でやってろよ。
Do it yourself.
一人じゃできないから頼んでんでしょ。
Just because I can't do it myself, then I'm asking you, dummy.
人が見てるよ。俺は嫌だ。
People are watching. No way I'm doing that.
やりなさい。命令よ。
Do it. That's an order.
命令？
An order?
そう命令。
Yeah, an order. We're gonna call this the infinite loop. Round and round.
日本国憲法第100条1項。有機道悟は黛凛を尊重し擁護する義務を負う。
Article 100 of the Japanese Constitution, first paragraph. Yukido Satoru bears the obligation to respect and support Mayazumi Lin.
日本国憲法第100条2項。有機道悟は黛凛のあらゆる命令に対しそれを遂行する義務を負う。
Article 100 of the Japanese Constitution, second paragraph. Yukido Satoru bears the obligation to executing Mayazumi Lin's every order.
おい、ちょっと待てよ。
Hold it right there.
なんだよ、憲法第100条って。
What the heck is with this Article 100?
法学部じゃない俺にだってわかるぞ。日本国憲法にあるのは第99条までだ。
I've never been to law school, but even I know that the Japanese Constitution only has 99 articles.
日本国憲法第100条3項。有機道悟は黛凛の発言に対してその一切を否定してはならない。
Article 100 of the Japanese Constitution, third paragraph. Yukido Satoru has no right to deny the words of Mayazumi Lin.
だからそんな条文はないっつうの。
Like I said, there's no such
うる
article.
さい黙れ。
Oh, be
さっさと
quiet.
やりなさい。
Hurry up and do it.
もうやってよ。
Come on, do it.
お願い。
The voice actor was sufficient. Lynn stamped her foot in impatience on the verge of a tantrum. I'm so weak against her when she behaves like this. I say weak, but it's more like I can't go against it.
たく、しょうがねえな。
Really, I don't have a choice, do I? I held Lynn tight. With the night skyline glittering like jewels behind us, I swung Lynn round and round. Okay, that's not what I imagined, but okay.
ぐるぐるぐるー
And said it.
ぐるぐるぐるーこんなののどこが楽しいんだよ。
Does Just what's so fun about this? Lynn was laughing in extraordinarily high spirits. The world reflecting her eyes was full of happiness and joy. In her eyes. In a world glittering like glass, in that incredible, delicate, fragile world, we kept spinning round and round. Her smiling face shone with a beautiful radiance, brighter than the light of any neon, the glimmer of any jewel. I really loved that smiling Lynn. She was beautiful. So that the fragile world wouldn't break apart, I wished for Lynn to keep on smiling. Always. Always. Through everything. However, that day arrived, January 11th, 2011, and that world shattered. Lynn suddenly disappeared from this world.
リン、
Lynn.
俺は本物のサトルだよ。
I am the real Satoru.
浜辺でぐるぐるしただろ。
We did the round and round on the beach together, remember?
え
Eh?
日本国憲法第100条1項。有機道悟は黛凛を尊重し擁護する義務を負う。
Article 100 of the Japanese Constitution, first paragraph. Yukido Satoru bears the obligation to respect and support Mayuzumi Lin.
だから俺は凛を守り続ける。
That's why I'll continue to protect you.
いや違う。
No, that's not it.
俺は守りたいんだ。凛を。
I want to protect you, Lin.
どうして知ってるの？
How do you know about that?
私と悟だけしか知らないはずなのに。
That's something only Satoru and I should know.
だから俺が悟だからだよ。
That's because I am Satoru.
嘘。
That's a lie.
嘘じゃない。
It's not a lie.
俺は凛が突然消えてしまったから。
Because you suddenly disappeared, I...
ねえ、もしも私が突然この世界から消えてしまったらどうする？
Hey, what would you do if I suddenly disappeared from this world?
凛のいる世界を見つけるよ。
I would search for the world where you were.
じゃあその世界が見つからなかったとしたら？
Then what if you couldn't find that
そう
world?
だな。
Well,
多分見つかるまで探し続けると思
I'd probably keep on searching until I found it.
う。だから凛のいる世界を見つけに来たんだ。
So I came and found the world where you were, Lin.
悟本当に悟なの？
Satoru, is it really you?
あ、
Yeah. I softly touched the silver earring, the one I'd given her as a present, in Lin's small, cute ear.
本当に俺だ。
It's really me.
悟悟悟
Tears flowed afresh down Lin's cheeks, drip drop falling without end. I kept silent as I stared into Lin's eyes.
私あなたに会いたかった。
I wanted to see you.
婚約してた彼のもとを逃げ出してきたの。
I ran away from him, my fiance.
婚約？
Fiance?
お前婚約してたのか？
You were engaged?
ええ、そうよ。
Yes, I was.
私たちが別れた2010年の夏。
We broke up in the summer of
あ
2010.
の時私に婚約者ができたから別れたの。
I had to break up with you because of my fiance.
正確には
No, to be more accurate,
別れさせられたの。
they made me break up with you.
だって相手は両親が勝手に決めたんですもの。
Because my parents arbitrarily decided on a fiance for me. Because fiction likes to portray arranged marriages as much worse in practice than they actually are.
くだらない政略結婚よ。
A stupid political marriage of convenience. I hadn't known about her circumstances nor her reasons for the breakup. I remembered how confused I was then.
初めは従うつもりだった。
親には逆らえなかった。
I thought of going with it at first because I couldn't oppose my parents.
でも
But
どうしてもあなたのことが忘れられなくて。
no matter what I did, I couldn't forget about you.
好きでもない相手と結婚するのが嫌になって。
The very idea of marrying someone I didn't love began to disgust me.
私が好きなのは、愛してるのは悟だけだから。
The one I loved, the one I fell in love with, is you, Satoru.
悟は稚内の近くにいるらしいって聞いて。
I heard you were near Wakanai.
だからあなたに会うためにあの飛行機に乗ったのよ。
Yeah, but I don't know if you could get to Svea, though. That's hard. But so in order to see you, I got on that airplane.
そうだったのか。
So that's how it was? And then Lin got caught up in the plane crash. Fate, or rather God, sure has a sense of irony. Well, that may be true, and it is, but this is something that this is a fictional story, and there's a tendency, in order to make a preponderance of mysteries to solve, that all the characters are related to each other in the situation, and various unexpected ways that you need to uncover. So, as a result of the genre, there's a lot of ridiculous coincidences that kind of have to happen in order for the game for you to experience the aha moments, the game the way the author wants you to experience them. She was coming to see me, but in doing so, she never got to see me again. Lin. I stretch out my hand to stroke Lin's hair. However, Lin brushed my hand away. Lin?
バカみたい。
I feel like such a baka.
あなたが悟なわけないわよね。
There's no way you could be Satoru, right?
リン、
Lin?
どこかへ行って、
Go away. Eh,
私の前から姿を消して、
get out of my sight. Said in an oddly calm tone.
私を惑わさないで。
Stop confusing
お
me,
願い。
please.
もしあなたが本当の悟だったとしたら、
If you are the real Satoru,
私の言うことには従うはず。
you should obey my commands.
日本国憲法第100条2項。有機道悟は黛凛のあらゆる命令に対し、それを遂行する義務を負う。
Article 100 of the Japanese Constitution, second paragraph. Yukito Satoru bears the obligation of executing Mayuzumi Lin's every order.
さあ、もういいでしょ。
It's fine now, right?
私はもう平気よ。
I've already calmed down.
暴れたりなんかしないから。
I won't go crazy like that
大
again.
丈夫だから。
I'll be alright.
だから安心してどこかへ行って。
So don't worry and just go away for now.
分かったよ。
Got it. Once Lin proposes something, she won't change her mind. I no choice but to quietly obey. But for now, it looks like Lin's regaining her self-control. I think she'll be able to keep her composure for a while. I left her side. I got her from the bed and hurried towards the window. Okay, let's do skip again, right? I don't know if I should pause the encoding during this because... Well, anyway. Let's see how far we are in here. Oh, we're pretty deep. Oh yeah, I think this one, we have to get all the way to the end, basically. Yeah, I have to get all the way to the end. But we've at least beat up the whole living area, so we're getting close. We were past the last transference. Okay. See if I can do this right. I can use the quick load if I mess it up. This one. Sorry for myself. There we go. I managed to remember how to get through that for once. Du-du-du-du. Now we do the whole watching the video thing. And we're going to pick the correct answers to this. We're going to pick neither. Then we're going to pick everything that's an hour and 6 minutes long here. There's 3 exchange points. We're gonna not open it for now. Here we go, the end of mind. When I reached the top of the hill, I was greeted by a familiar scene. A bowl-shaped hollow. In the middle of it stood the shelter cabin. Kicking up the deep snow, I ran down the gentle slope. I finally arrived at the front of the shelter. I flung the door open. I threw myself inside. I couldn't believe what I saw there. No way. Yomogi's body lay slumped on the beds. In the corner rested the body of Uni, frozen solid. And huddled over him, as if to protect him, lay Kokuro's body. They were already gone. The dark reddish fluid was pouring from Kokuro's windpipe. No, it was no longer liquid. It solidified ice. A pool of blood surrounded her body. The blood was already frozen over, gaining an uncanny, glossy brilliance. Yomogi and Uni looked very calm, as though they'd fallen asleep. Their remains were too beautiful, which only made Kokuro's bloody corpse with its slit throat stand out all the more. Only Lin was missing. But that didn't matter anymore. My reason crumbled under the weight of overwhelming despair. No, not only my reason, my entire existence. In this moment, I am nothing. A cold breeze blew through the cabin. I have no idea what happened after that. I think several more space-time transfers occurred, but that didn't matter anymore. At the mercy of something greater than I, my lost soul just wandered aimlessly through an empty world. And where did the corpses of the shelter cabin disappear to after that? From the newspaper dated July 4th, 2011, the headline 3 decomposed male and female corpses found on Mount Akakura had disappeared. Instead, it said that the bodies of Yomogi, Lin, and Kokuro were discovered on January 17th along with those of the other passengers. Which means, of course, that they didn't come back alive. Which, astonishingly enough, means that the 3 of them actually died on January 11th. I wonder if I've just been dreaming this whole time. A nightmare without end. Now I'm in a white room of unskippable text that says the same thing it's always said. I'm not going to read it out loud again. Listen to Fade to Black. Yes. Cool. Let's look at what that was. No, let's do continue. Let's load up endless mantle environment.
私は
I run away from Mayuzumi.
わかりました。
I
一緒
understand.
に墜落現場まで行きましょう。
Let's go to the crash site together. Mayuzumi grinned.
そうよ。最初からそうやって素直になればいいのよ。
That's right, you should have been honest like that from the beginning.
人間なんて所詮自分だけが可愛い生き物なんだから。
Because in the end, humans are beings that only think of themselves. No, I'm not like that. I'm different from Mayuzumi in her very self-centered way of thinking. I just had to pick the other choice because I wanted to check off all the text. My mind cried out. I'm only following Mayuzumi to see if there really is a helicopter. Whether the helicopter is there or not, I still intend to return for Yuni and Yomogi. So Yuni and Yomogi-san, wait just a bit longer. And this is while receiving blessing, right? But a little bit different this time because... Oh, okay. Guess it's not any different. Cool. Yes. Okay. Now... Oh yeah, so it's symbolic. Three exchange points. Don't go in. Oh, I have to get the good ending or it just nails all of it. Oh. Well, that would mean that I didn't have to go back and do it all over again then. I could just have gone from a random save. Okay. That's interesting. That means I can do the following. Go to determine fate. I turn back. And then I hit the wrong thing. Took a bit longer. Okay, let's load this one then. I Oh, Yomogi. Lend Yomogi a shoulder. Save Uni. Slap her.
よもぎさんは何て言ったと思いますか？
What do you think Yomogi-san told me?
生きている限り私たちには生きる義務とみんなを生かす義務があるって。
As long as we're alive, we have the duty to live, and the duty to help each other live as well. That's what he
眉
said.
墨を死なせるなってそう言ったんですよ。
Don't let Mayuzumi die, that's what he told me. Just continue watching, you don't carry Uni in this case. I guess I do. Nope. But no choices in this part. I know for absolute certainty there'll be no new text because, well, I got all the text. Let's go back. Reach out and we fall in here. That end. Yeah. So load. Was this symbolic doomed? Let me. There are three. This might have been just a doomed version of symbolic, actually. Because it was just started at the wrong time. Okay.
ヒヤヒヤさせやがって。
There's no red flashing there. Okay. So to make it so that we can actually get to the end, we have to take Kokoro through and get the Kokoro good ending. So let's do that. So the Promised Land. So we do keep going.
ダメよ。
So save this on top. And then this is to turn back. Yeah, okay. I just have to run through. There's going to be no text, no new text because we've already got all the text that's at the end here. And then it's going to hit an auto roll where I can't fast forward, which is disappointing. You have to just sit through it. No, I can't even click. Yeah, it's gets stuck on an auto roll. Whoever came up with this, why?
悟。なんで悟がここに。
I decide that after this is done, I'm going to immediately go back and reload that save and show why this is so tedious. Because you have to start each new run
そう
through
か
after you've gone
や
done.
はりそういうことなのか
Each run through after you get that ending. So like it was probably going to still bad ending on me if I loaded that save.
どうして？
話は後だ急がないと大変なことになる
大変って。
He means that Uni, Utsumi, and Keiko are going to leave to the gate.
お前たちはここで待ってるんだついてくるな
Oh no, it's gonna make me sit to the credits, isn't it? No. Okay, we're gonna skip this. Okay. Now within the cage here. Let's fast forward through within the
地位
cage.
陽光が
Okay, now to see show how absurd this is, or maybe I'll be wrong, I don't know. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna actually load that save that I kept loading, right? Of symbolic. And then fast forwarding through all of this explanation that he's making of what's going on, which takes a while because there's a lot of explanation. And then he goes out. We have to wait through the animation. Open that door. Yes, we have to not go into the white room because you can't get back out of it. It's a trap. So. And then, despite getting the good ending as Kokoro, I end up with the bad ending as Satoru. Because it doesn't reset. It like. That's what, like, you have to start, once you start a run as Satoru after a certain ending as Kokoro, it, like, locks it in. So every time you get a new bad ending or good ending as Kokoro, you have to start from a new game. And that's why I keep fast forwarding through new games all of the time. And I'm gonna have to do that in order to get to the end, to the Satoru good ending. Why do I want to get to the Satoru one? I have to stop for today because I'm out of time. But, because if I look at my scenes list, get to the bottom of it, there is some stuff like in Delta and Infinite History that I haven't read, and that's simply because there are some choices in those. I think there's a choice in Infinite History. I didn't pick like the alternate choice. I have to go back and pick the other choice so I can read that, right? So, and to get into there, I have to restart another Satoru. I can't load an existing save because they're all tainted. Bleh. But anyway, we got End of Mind up to 100, but End of World is only at 91. Yeah, I suspect to get End of World to 100, you need to do End of World on a different ending besides Avalanche at Location X. You have to do a different one that would make the shelter cabin empty, which I guess I'll do next time to get that to 91. But End of Mind, that's the only way to get End of Mind, it appears, because you can get 100 already. So that's cool. And then we have 100 all the way back to Insertion, which we're only at 97. And you have 100 from there all the way back to NBA, or at 99. It's like one more line of text that can happen in the basketball game. DHA, we still have 70%, which I don't know where that comes from. And then we have 100s back to Polyhedron and Reflection 1, which have these like one or two lines of text I haven't gotten. And then 100s back all the way to the beginning of Satoru. Endless Mantle Environment, I still have it only 87. Somehow. Yeah, that is weird because I hit that bad ending and everything, so. Gee, there's a lot of variations of Endless Mantle Environment you can get, apparently. We got like the Satoru and the Uni variations too. Oh my goodness. Still something weird, self-defense, false accusation. Still a completely missing scene there. Holy smokes. Being a vehicle collapse, I have something missing. And then I think on the shadow, yeah. Shadow of Falsehood, I have something missing. So, let's look at the, yeah, again, I believe I have all the Kokoro ones. I'm complete on Kokoro. Unless there's a variations on one of these I don't have. Satoru, I'm missing one here. And that is it. Yeah, I got these. Just recently I got that one, and that one. So I got these three recently. So this is the only one left that's missing. And which scene would you get that one? And well, it's after the rat got smashed. We go back into there again. And before this, so this scene here is Sabbath time, I believe. And this one, I forget. I don't know if it's Crucify's Rat, something like that. So, that's not what I meant to do. So, let's go to the list here. So Crucify's Rat, Respite, Crucify's Rat, Sabbath Time. So likely there's a CG in DHA. That scene. So let's do. Let's see if I can shortcut to DHA. That'd be funny. Just to remind myself what that is. Sabbath Time. That's too far in. Okay. Back to title. So I don't want to do day 3 beginning. Let's try day 2 beginning. The shortcut doesn't do the thing. That was the wrong. What was wrong with that? I loaded Kokoro. Let's try to load Satoru instead. No. Oh dear. I don't know why I'm bothering. Okay, here's the rap part.
「スノボーってのはどうだ?」
Okay, so this is DHA. Okay.
「この建物の西側にちょっと」
Okay, so it is in that little scene. Okay. Huh. 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 Well, I'll end off with checking the name of the ending that I got. Annihilation End Kokoro. If we can blame her for it. And that is all of the endings. There are no more endings. I have gotten all the endings at least. 33 out of 33 endings. 153 out of 154 scenes. There's a scene as Kokoro that I have missing. 96 out of 110 tips. I didn't read near 96 of them, but okay. 115 out of the 116 paintings. There's one missing as Satoru. Probably in DHA. 35 out of 35 musics would play in the background if I was playing this with the music on. 98% of the text. 99% of the choices, which means there's actually a choices I haven't made yet, which is interesting. 60 hours, 29 minutes, which is sad. let's do this one.
わかりました。
Do this bad ending again. Okay, so that's not that caused a bad ending of Satu. I have to redo this Kokoro good ending. I'll do that off recording probably. So easy to just mess everything up like that. Oops, I bad ending. Now I messed everything up. Oh yeah, what's it gonna do? It's gonna load. Failed to defense false accusations.
違います。私たちは
No, that didn't come up with anything new.
違います。私たちはあなた。
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll end it on that.